Dealing with one loss is hard enough as it is, but imagine having to deal with multiple losses in a short period of time. Let's walk together and I'll share with you ways that you can navigate multiple losses, especially if it's happening very close together. Hey friend, welcome back to Grief Questions Answered. I'm Eric, and it's my goal with these videos to share everything that I've learned about how to survive, find support in the loneliness of grief, and how to intentionally get back up and live beyond the loss of your loved one. If this grief tip doesn't help you today, I am confident it can and will help you at some point in the future, so definitely be sure to save this video to watch later on. So today's question comes from Tracey, and she is distraught. She tells me that about a year ago, she lost her very good friend, and just a week and a half ago, she lost her brother to congestive heart failure. How do you deal with that? How do you even approach multiple losses when you're just trying to navigate one? I remember when I lost Zoe, it was hard. As I've mentioned before, it was really hard to try to even consider carrying on, because Zoe was so very missed by my family and her friends, and you know, shortly after that, I learned that one of her friend's sister had taken her life, and it just completely floored me. All those emotions that I felt when Zoe died came racing back in, and I wasn't even really connected that much to this person. I knew of her, but it still hit me hard. And I know that when you're dealing with multiple losses, it's almost as if you're trying to juggle what phase of grief you're in, because the losses are happening, you know, at different times, but you're at different places with each in terms of reconciling the grief with each person. And so it can be a really hard time and a really challenging time. And so what can you do about that? Well, one of the best things that you can do, especially when you're navigating the loss of just one loved one, let alone more, and you're doing that simultaneously, is that it is absolutely important that you find ways to stay grounded and to keep yourself emotionally regulated. Now, I'm not trying to use a medical term here. What I'm saying here is that those are things that are out of our control. And I'm talking about when you lose a loved one. We have no control over those things happening. What we do have control over is what we do with our lives. And that can be any number of things to help us navigate these times. It can be being gentle with ourselves, giving ourselves permission to feel what we need to feel and when we need to feel it. It can be grabbing a notebook and journaling anything and everything to get it out of your head and get it on paper. It could be practicing some breath work so that you can remain emotionally regulated and get some relief from that roller coaster of what you feel. And it's also connecting with others. I found solace in Zoe's friends after she died. They found solace in hanging out with me. When Zoe's friend's sister took her life, I found that it was helpful to be with that family for as much as I possibly could, to help them as much as I could, to show them that, yes, this absolutely sucks, but ultimately it will be okay. And while you're navigating the hardest parts of your grief, it may not feel like it's going to be okay. Pay attention to that narrative that you're telling yourself. If you're telling yourself you're never going to feel better, guess what? You're going to believe it, and that's going to become your truth. You can alter your narrative. You can find ways to navigate your grief. And hopefully, as you're continuing to mourn your friend that was killed, and as you're mourning your brother, Tracey, please, please know that you're not alone. You are supported. There are people out there that care about how you're navigating this horrible situation, and there are ways through this. But ultimately, it is important to take care of yourself in whatever way works for you. So as always, I hope this helps. Do you have a question about grief that I can answer for you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button down below, as this is one of the best ways to get notified of new videos just like this and to show support for the channel. Let's keep walking together, and I will see you in next week's video.